I asked the waitress, and the waitress had no idea what I was talking about. She looked at me like I was crazy.
And you're like, oh, word. Cool, that's good.
All right. Okay. Season 2, episode 7.
Woo. We're here. We're still alive. We're not necessarily thriving. Pat is. Pat's just riding the wave.
Oh, yeah.
Riding the oil money wave.
I'm loving it here, you know? It's a good time. We love oil money in this household.
Yeah. Speaking of old oil money, Chelsea boys, let's just start it off. Let's dive right in.
Rest in piss, Thomas Tuchel. You won't be missed.
This was a hell of a way to wake up this morning. Let me tell you, because we talked about it about a month ago, or maybe it was like our right after the round table, maybe episode 2. We talked about Tuchel and the American ownership coming in and how it looked like they were trending in the right direction, buying talent that fit this Tuchel system. It looked like kind of full speed ahead, and then big UCL loss to Dinamo. We wake up and Tuchel is gone.
I think it's insane that...
Yeah, is it justified?
No. God, no. I don't think so.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would agree.
I think managers go through like rough patches. Teams go through rough patches. Like, dude, fucking Frank Lampard still has a job.
Yeah.
And you fired Thomas Tuchel after a rough 7 games.
7 games.
And I think the amount of money put into a Tuchel side, $300 million spent this season in which landed them pretty much neck and neck with United for overall net spend this year. Mm-hmm. In a record-breaking year where $1.9 billion is spent in the transfer window. You put a ton of talent back into the side. Has it panned out quite yet? No. It feels extremely rushed. It feels worse than Bournemouth. It honestly is mind-blowing how you bring in Aubameyang, put him in for 1 game after there's an established relationship.
That's fucking hilarious.
An extra ton of money into the side, and then your services are no longer needed. It makes no sense.
Aubameyang saying that he was like excited to get to play with Tuchel again, play under Tuchel again, and then Tuchel getting sacked the next day. Pretty funny. I
mean, Chelsea too. There were 6 in the Premier League, 5 points off top.
Yeah, it's not like they're having a terrible start. I mean, just to go back to the spending for a second, because this might be my hot take of the episode. I actually don't think Chelsea bought that well. I don't think that Bowley really gave Tuchel
I'm on your side here.
The pieces that he needed to like really succeed. Aubameyang is pretty past it. He bought him, 30,000 defenders and didn't really improve the side in any areas that like needed improvement. They brought in Cucurella. They had
overpriced.
They had Ben Chilwell.
Yep.
Koulibaly, decent signing, hasn't been that good. There's no midfield help for them. Mason Mount has looked abysmal at the start of this season. They don't have a striker, really, like a proven one. I mean, they have Aubameyang, and sure, say what you want about Aubameyang. He can score goals. He'll do the thing, I guess. But he's not like that top-class center forward. He's not, Liverpool went out and splashed big on young talent in Darwin Nunez. City went out and bought Haaland. United went out and just bought Antony in a drastically needed position. And, they've improved their side with these players that are both expensive and are part of the manager's philosophy and will help the manager. Yeah, I think bringing in Aubameyang for Tuchel was smart because he's, a product of a former system that Tuchel did, but why sack him? If you're going to do that? I don't know. It doesn't feel like Bowley bought well for Tuchel to succeed at the early stages of the season and then didn't really... It almost feels like he didn't want Tuchel there to begin with.
Yeah, we saw that a lot, though, right? With, new owners usually want their own manager as well. We've saw, ownerships change, and eventually the manager gets sacked. It kind of looked like they probably wanted him gone already, and they were looking for the reason to get rid of him. On your point on Aubameyang, I don't really think that one made sense just because you're bringing him into a system, even though Tuchel used to coach him. Dortmund's not what Chelsea is now. Dortmund were completely free-flowing. Aubameyang could just do what he wanted. Chelsea's a lot more defensive and kind of, pragmatic. So it's a hard team for him to come in. Then you bring in Raheem Sterling as well. Doesn't really fit into that team. And you overspend probably on Fofana, even though he's a young talent. You spend an egregious amount of money.
A lot of money.
And then you also have to factor in that Bully also tried to get Ronaldo. And completely went against what Tuchel wanted.
Yeah, he and Tuchel butt heads on that, from my understanding, right? Is there was a lot of conversation between the two where Tuchel was like, I don't want Ronaldo.
Yeah,
and Bully was like, well, about that, brother, you might get him.
Exactly. We had this conversation, what was it, 3 weeks ago, that sporting or owners that try to be sporting directors never turn out good. It's the Manchester United problem of old of, when you sack managers and you let this kind of guy who doesn't know football buy players, or, you have managers buy this haul of players and then sack them, you just end up having like an island of misfit toys that the next manager has to try and pick up.
Try and deal with, yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see who is going to be brought into... Well, actually, it's going to be Potter. It's going to be Graham Potter.
I agree, because, I don't know, they met with him today. I didn't hear anything about meetings with Poch.
It's going to be Potter. I think Graham Potter is absolutely going to be the next Chelsea manager. I'm excited to see him manage a top side, get a chance to have, more or less a war chest and like really do his thing, get, reunited with his old pal Cucurella. But I'm excited to see what Potter, if he ends up becoming the manager of Chelsea, I am excited to see what he does with that side, despite not liking Chelsea.
So you think he gets it over Poch 100%?
Yeah, I don't see any reason. I mean, I think Potter, unless he's either holding out for a different job, which fair, or wants to see this project through with Brighton until the end of the season, I don't see any reason why Potter won't be like, yeah, this is like my chance to like really do it on the big stage. I'm getting my opportunity with a top club. Sorry, Brighton. Like, I'm going to take this opportunity. To me, it feels like a no-brainer to bring in Graham Potter right now.
Yeah, but on the other side of the coin, I was talking with Cam and Bass about this morning, and it's like, if you're Graham Potter, they've backed him as a manager. They've started really, really hot this season, and maybe it's the best opportunity for this club to perform. If you're Graham Potter and Chelsea come knocking, do you go? Like, it's either you become a legend where you are because you're doing something great with the team that could probably end up finishing 9th, 10th if they stay on pace with what they're doing, injury-free, whatever. Or do you step up and finish 7th, 8th, 9th with a Chelsea side that just because it's Chelsea Football Club, do you take that opportunity? It's like you're getting your name as the managerial kind of nod in a top 4 club, like a perpetual top 4, 5, 6 club. Like, you jump on that opportunity if you're a manager, but he could do great things with what he has right now. He's done a lot of good business, has his foundation set over a few years. So I guess it's just like trying to play devil's advocate. It's a tough situation to be in for Chelsea Football Club because there isn't really anybody other than Poch, Zidane, Ranieri's available, Bielsa's available.
Oh, but no, like, Bielsa goes to Chelsea.
Rafa Benitez. Like, we were going through the list of managers that could be potential candidates outside of Graham Potter because there is a catch-22 here. He has a decent side. He's worked really hard to build this. Does he say fuck off and go to Stamford Bridge, or does he stay and complete the project and come in after they've maybe Chelsea finds an interim manager for the time being, and then the target comes in.
At the end of the day, Chelsea's just a ruthless job.
Yeah, that's true too.
Tuchel, Mourinho, and Conte have proved that, winning major trophies there and getting sacked like the next year.
Also under a different ownership.
You can't be a legend at Chelsea. So I don't know what Potter... I get, like, as a manager, you're waiting for that top club to come calling for you, and Chelsea's definitely one of those, but where do you go from there once you get sacked from Chelsea? It seems like a tough ask for me.
I hope he holds out and either takes the England job after Southgate steps down next summer, or holds out a little bit longer and City can get him after Pep.
Yeah, I mean, Potter's going to be a really top manager wherever he goes. I hope he takes the England job as well, though.
Yeah, I'd love to see
He'd do bits.
Graham Potter managing all that talent instead of Southgate, but
I think that's why I kind of favored Poch a little bit. I think Poch is more suited for that role, like having coached PSG for a while. He can deal with big personalities, and he's also like not afraid to go in and like dare and like really go out and try, and also get sacked at the end. You know, he's probably comfortable with that a little bit.
I don't think the fans will take well to Pochettino. I think is the
Yeah,
biggest thing. I
and
don't.
that's fair,
I
too.
think he's going to have to do a lot. If he doesn't start hot, the Stamford Bridge will turn on him.
Yeah, and he has history with Spurs, obviously.
Yeah,
So
I
mean-
think that's the biggest thing.
I think at the end of the day, you know, Tuchel being sacked is the first kind of peg in Todd Bowley's era here at Chelsea Football Club. So, you know, I'd be curious to see what it looks like a year from now. Like, I think this year is a wild card. It's weird because you have this, like, 8-week period where you're playing games, club games, and then you're just taking another 8 weeks and going and playing for your country in the World Cup.
yeah.
You know, it could be a situation where teams are thinking, you know, this early 10-week period before the World Cup is all throwaway. Like, everything else afterward matters. So this could be just being used as an extended preseason to sort things out and figure out what to do from here. But I think it's a really weird time. I don't think it's justified at the end of the day, and we're just going to have to let it ride.
Yeah, he leaves with a pretty solid record, 3 major trophies, Champions League. He probably goes down as a successful tenure at Chelsea.
I'd say so,
But
yeah.
They move on to new things. I don't think at the beginning of the season we would have said that him and Scott Parker would have got sacked before Lampard, Gerrard, or Brendan Rodgers, though.
But here we
Here we are. This is the Premier League.
We were
Never know what you're gonna
joking,
get.
like we were joking about that like a few weeks ago too. Like who's going to be the first one to go? And I guess
Yeah, because I think Villa and Everton play each other soon. We were like looking at that as
Yeah.
like El Sacca.
Yeah.
El Sacco.
I was thinking of how to
El
say that, and that
Sackico.
didn't come
El
out well.
Sackico. Oh.
We'll move on to the Premier League this weekend. Cover some fixtures. First game of the weekend, Liverpool draw with Everton 0-0. Classic derby game.
That was fun. I like that game. I was goalkeeping display.
Yes.
Immaculate on both sides.
It was
Pickford-
one game in particular where every time the camera cut to Pickford, it was like it was justified shithousing because he was a wall this weekend.
He was really good. So was Allison, to be fair. It was
To be
Allison's
fair,
been our best player this year.
I don't know about Allison. Like it's the stats are tough to look at because we're getting cut open so much through the midfield and the defensive back pairing. But I don't know. I feel like we're not as confident at the back anymore as we've been over the last few years, and Allison's the one getting the brunt end of it at the end of the day. The scoreline, letting in early goals. Obviously, in this fixture, it ended in a scoreless draw, which is so surprising with some of the shots that were taken throughout that game. I think Luis Diaz has been our best player this year. He was phenomenal there as well, and I don't know. It's just a weird start to the Liverpool season.
You guys
Yeah.
have been violently pedestrian to
Yeah.
start the season. Like, I still think he'll turn it around. I'm not on the like Liverpool are bad train just yet. Van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold are on fraud watch for me, but I think you guys will end up righting the ship. I think it's so tough with like just your lack of depth in the midfield right now.
The injuries, Thiago being made of glass.
James Milner's fucking 37 years old.
A lot of minutes.
He shouldn't be starting games for you right
I
now.
love Millie too, and I'm a Millie defender. But like you said, there's a level of like how many minutes you should be playing.
Yeah.
And I want him involved. Like I love him in the locker room, whatever. But you shouldn't be starting Champions League matches.
No,
Napoli
he
away.
can play 10, 15 minutes against anyone
Villa.
anyone in the bottom half of the table. But like you can't.
He's literally old enough to be like half the league's father at this point. I love Milner, but even like I know we're talking about the Premier League, but today, like, I find it hard captaining him as a secondary choice too, just because it feels like the mental state when he's out there is just kind of so sporadic now. It feels very rushed. It feels like he's overwhelmed at times. I don't know if it's the best position for him to be in right now, but it's the only position that he can fill at the moment. And I going into this season, I was almost 100% sure Milner was done. We weren't signing him on for another year. But it's been clear that he's been probably the furthest off the pace out of everybody that's played minutes for us this season.
Yeah, probably. And to get back to the Everton game, because Milner didn't actually play didn't start. We did get the lineup we've kind of all been hoping for, which I think does shut some people up a little bit. That like not saying that Milner should be like first choice, but that Klopp probably knows a little bit of what he's doing, starting Henderson and stuff. Because I do think Carvalho and Elliott got a little bit too far away from Fabinho at times, and left Fabinho on an island. But like Pat said, I don't know how a goal wasn't scored. You had 3 expected goals, I think, in that game overall. We hit the post 3 times. Everton hit the post once. That one, the double play where Nunez hits it on the back volley. And then Diaz, I have no idea how that didn't go in. And what a screamer that would have been if Nunez hit that on the back stick.
It would have been gorgeous.
But yeah, you leave with a draw, and it's hard to. Obviously, you want Liverpool to go in and win a derby, but it's not a surprising result because it's the second most drawed fixture in the Prem.
That's funny.
Yeah, behind Chelsea, Man United, or Chelsea, Man United, I think. But yeah, I mean, leave with a point. It sucks. You got to move on. It's a game at Goodison. I don't know what else. We were right there for the asking. The only thing I was concerned about is that we almost lost the game. And if Connor Cody would have scored to beat us, that would have been pretty tough.
Oh, nail in the coffin.
Scouser.
Jinx. That's tough, dude. That's tough. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, you know what else is tough? Arsenal's back 4.
Yeah, man.
Rough transition there, but they did not look great against Man United. I don't know, it's just something they just get eaten on the counterattack. Fair play to Man United. On the side note, fair play to Man United. They really turned it around. Look like they're actually going to be a serious club after the first 2 games of the season. I do think that they're starting to figure it out. I think Ten Hag is starting to put guys in the places he needs them in, and I think Man United are really starting to find their rhythm, find their feet, so to speak, in the game. It feels like even though Ten Hag is a very progressive and attacking manager, this current United side kind of has that United of old DNA to just eat you on the counterattack, score, look like they're going to score every time they go forward. They've looked a lot better at the back too, against Arsenal in particular. I mean, Saka had that goal, and it was kind of just an all over the place moment at the back. But I mean, outside of that, I think Lisandro Martinez and Varane is the pairing for them going forward. I think Antony scored a great goal, to just make himself known to the Old Trafford faithful, so to speak. Do you see that moment? Side note, do you see that moment after his goal where the ref had to talk to him and
he did that,
get him to relax because he was winding up the Arsenal fans? I just don't think he knew where he was in the stadium.
Oh,
he was
that's fair,
pointing at the badge and yelling and stuff, but he was doing it at the away section.
He did a little tiger claw thing. It was a little weird, but the goal was class. It opened his hips up.
Great
nice
finish.
Left foot finish. Arsenal didn't look good. They didn't pass their first big test, which is what we've all been talking about.
They did not.
Plenty more tests for a young Arsenal side throughout the season, though. I think again, just piggybacking off of what we've talked about, they started last year so rough. So a disappointing result to United I don't think is going to be the end-all be-all. I think Arteta is doing everything in his power to work with what he has. And again, they're still gelling. But Arsenal did not pass this weekend.
No. I mean, 15 points from your opening 6 games is still a really good return.
Yeah.
So you have to give Arsenal credit there. And outside of that, I think they'll be fine. I still peg them to finish in the top 4 after the way they've started, if they can take the points that we know they should take. Because that was the biggest issue, I think, with them last year, was their inability to just beat the teams that
they should consistently beat.
Yeah.
If they have a bad record against the top 6, they're a young side. No one's going to say they're going to win the title. Maybe me saying they're going to finish second was a little audacious. But bad record against the top 6. I think if they can take a couple of points here and there, they can win the North London derby at the Emirates and get like a draw or two against some of the top sides, I think they'll be fine, honestly.
Yeah. I was impressed with Ten Hag, too, just to throw that in there on this game. I thought he coached Arteta. I really liked the Ronaldo sub in the second half. I thought when Ronaldo came on, he actually really opened the game up. And I think they scored 2 goals after.
Yep.
So I do like that from him. Again, I think Arteta, I think he's building something. I'm still not 100% proven by him in big games, which, again, like a young side, I think they're going to get caught out in those against those big sides.
Yeah, their back four on the Antony goal was all over the place for him to find all that space. So, I mean, you're going to see that happen. But
yeah, we'll move on to you, though. City dropped points against Villa.
Yeah, dude, Villa just looked like they were, like, not ever going to lose that game. They were... they were just going for it. You know what I mean? They were a side under pressure with a manager under pressure, and they needed to take something from that game. And yeah, City probably had a couple opportunities where they could have put the game to bed. But ultimately, I thought Villa defended really well. Their midfield was good. They were pressing us all over the place. Ultimately, it was just, Haaland keeps scoring, and that's really
ridiculous, man. He's a robot.
Really just going to be what feels like the story of the season, so to speak. It's just how many goals can he actually score?
It's going to be fucking 50 at this point.
He's like Barry Bonds.
When's
it's
he
just
gonna
like,
stop
what's he going to do
scoring?
tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about this later, but I mean, a brace in this Champions League debut for us, another goal against Villa, second fastest player to 10 goals in Premier League history, if I'm not mistaken, or like second fastest.
I believe he's
player.
tied with exactly with someone.
Yeah, so just onward and upward. Honestly, I think I think I said it in the last episode too, but it feels like every single game, me saying he's going to score 30 in the league just sounds less and less crazy. After every, he's a third
Seems
of the
like
way
it's
there,
like
and it's been 6 games.
Selling it, honestly, just the production we've seen out of him. It's been a seamless transition. As much as it pains me to watch, like City have been building the side for this moment for so long, and it's like Haaland has just fit right in. It's like
he's in all those places where, like, last year, if you were watching City and a ball like flashed across the 6-yard box, and you have a frustrated me being like, where the fuck is the runner? Haaland is there.
Yeah.
His instincts to just like be in the right place to score a goal, I think, are what makes him such a good player right now. I think that is his best footballing attribute, is positioning. He just knows exactly where to be. He can just like sniff out where the loose balls are going to fall to. He knows exactly where to be. And yeah, that's about it.
I have a theoretical for you. Do you think Harry Kane would have put up the same numbers if he signed last summer?
I think he doesn't score as many goals. I think Haaland will outscore Harry Kane, and Haaland would outscore Harry Kane in this City side, because Kane is a lot more involved in the build-up.
Yep.
I think Kane probably, in like an all-around game sense, would add a lot more to the City side. He would have taken away some of the creative burden on De Bruyne. He would have been able to be a bit more involved in the build-up. We wouldn't have had to change our system at all, really. Kane would have just been the false 9 that we've been playing with, except it would be Harry Kane instead of Phil Foden filling that role. But even I don't think that he outscores Haaland, just because that's like all Haaland knows how to do.
That's fair.
Is score goals. He'll always find himself in those positions where Harry Kane may find himself on the edge of the box, or like building up a little bit more to like play the pass to someone.
I think age and career kind of arc play a huge difference in it too. With Haaland, there's a much higher ceiling because that potential is still growing, which is insane to say. Like the amount of production we get out of him, he's 21, 22 years old right now.
21.
So it's just like the longevity of a career like that. The build he has as a forward is
He's a freak.
He's just a freak of nature. He's like the Giannis to football. It's like just somebody that is built so differently than the stereotypical striker. This player that is just like the top psychopath, insanity good at like everything that he needs to be at such a young age. And I saw something on Instagram the other day. It's like, fuck the Messi Ronaldo era. We're in the Mbappe and Haaland era now. It's like these kids are adults now. They're 21, 22 years old. They're playing with the best of them, if not outproducing them at a much younger age. And it's insane to see, honestly, Holland's
going to have Mbappe washing his boots at this pace. Honestly.
It's gross to see how well he's taken to the Premier League, to his city side. It's like you wake up one day and it's like, how has this not been a thing for years? It's just like he feels like it's just like, this is home. This is where I need to be right now, and I'm gonna go.
Shout out De Bruyne too. He just throwing shots off the backboard. He doesn't have to worry about shit now.
Right? It's like Magic Johnson throwing a ball up to Kareem.
It's like that meme of the fucking like the cat just like crossing the ball. Yeah, those are really funny. The one where it's like the cat kicking and the other cat like jumping like this, and it's just like De Bruyne to Haaland.
He's in there somewhere.
He did an interview, I guess, and they were talking about that, and he was just like, I mean, Haaland, he's always going to be there. It's just a little bit easier, I guess, now. He's always going to score the goals. He's always going to do his thing. I think it was funny, too, because De Bruyne is very, like, frank in his interviews. So De Bruyne was like, yeah, he scores goals, but he could probably do a little more for the team, but he's going to score goals. So, we're going to keep giving him the ball. We're going to keep doing his thing. Then he's even said, like, yeah, City are, we're a good team, and Haaland is a good player, so it works.
Very, very plain. Only other thing out of the Premier League weekend, I think we all kind of saw VAR get in the mud a little bit. A lot of bad decisions this weekend. Newcastle Palace. Newcastle had a goal taken off. West Ham obviously had a goal taken back too. That lost them a point.
That one's insane. That's
Chelsea.
Absolutely should have stood.
Yep. The West Ham one, I do think, was probably one of the worst VAR calls in recent memory.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I mean, to go back to United, Arsenal. That was a foul. That was a foul, right? That we're all on the same page. That Arsenal disallowed goal.
Yeah,
it would have made it 2-0.
Yeah,
that was probably the right call.
Yeah, that was the right
call.
It
was the right call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. West Ham was really bad, and Virgil probably should have got sent off.
He should have been
off.
After
a second, third look at that, I probably changed my mind. You had one too. Coutinho almost scored the winner. That one was a very close offsides call.
That's like such a weird one.
It is.
Because I don't know, I guess sure the goal probably should have stood because Coutinho was on sides when you look at it, but
it's tricky.
It was like after the phase of play had happened and Coutinho just like kicked the ball. He shot the ball after the whistle had blown.
Yep.
And it goes in, but it's like, okay, yeah, sure, you can say that, but if the whistle hadn't blown, does Ederson dive to try to make the save, and does he save it? It was just like a weird like second phase of play thing. The Coutinho one kind of felt like people grasping at straws to give Villa a winner, if you ask me.
That's fair. I would love to see VAR turn into a thing where offsides, like the Champions League.
That's so good.
The graphics
it's so good.
Yeah, put cameras all along the sideline that can tell, and they're going to have this for the World Cup. They have it for the Champions League, where they can just graph it out. They have the players visualized on a camera map, and they can tell scientifically if it was offsides or not.
And the visuals are really fucking cool.
Yes.
It looks like something out of the video game Portal.
They
look sick.
The one thing I kind of don't like about the difference between what we've seen in the Premier League so far and the Champions League as of the last couple of days is the whistles that go into it. Like there's this fine line where they want to leave the flag down for offsides, let play go on, but in the Premier League, in the Champions League, in the Premier League, they've now gone back to blowing it when it's pretty clear. Today in the Liverpool game, what was it, the 75th, 76th minute?
I know what you're talking about.
There was a very clear offside that they didn't blow dead that took a couple minutes of game time away from Liverpool in a pretty dire situation. So
you're 3 goals down, you're fine.
That threw him off.
I'm sorry.
Anywho, no, I guess I just wish there was more of a balance between.
I agree.
Between the two leagues, because I mean, I guess the 6, 7 leagues total if we're really thinking about it.
You've got like your governing bodies
Yeah, your
of
governing-
football.
right,
They couldn't all come together and be like,
Champions League is the best officiated one by a fucking
It is.
mile.
It is. But I
Yeah.
just wish they would implement what the Premier League has done to kind of make the pace of play a little bit better, let the game flow a little bit better. Just
Yeah.
call it dead. If you have all this technology, call it dead and
Just
then make
use
the
it.
change.
Yeah.
Use it in the end. Don't let play go on for an extra 2 minutes. Have all this confusing stuff. So then when we go back, we're like, oh, Coutinho could have had a goal there, or this could have gotten called back because that was offside 5 minutes ago. It creates this extra layer to a game
it
that's
just doesn't flow
that's
as much.
supposed to be
Yeah.
continuous.
Yeah.
On the note of the Champions League, also,
Yeah.
we can just
Quick
tuck into
Champions
some stuff.
League run through.
We could just kind of like
Very quick.
fucking rapid
Yeah,
fire these.
rapid fire.
No more than like 45 seconds
One
on the
take.
fixture. Yeah.
Yes.
Zagreb, Chelsea, 1-0.
Laughable.
Olic.
Or Orsic,
yeah.
my guy. I had a half unit play on him to score at any time. Dude is a baller. I think he scored 9 goals already this season. Chelsea just looked fucking ballless.
Abysmal.
Yeah.
Bad top to bottom.
They had some control, and then the minute Zagreb scored, they were just like, see you later. And
Yeah,
Chelsea just
Zagreb
couldn't
had a
break them
couple
down.
chances too. Kepa had a really nice save off the post.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Game that gets Tuchel sacked.
Surprisingly, a game where Kepa looked really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All things
to be fair.
considered.
Kepa's really good at getting his managers fired.
Dortmund, Copenhagen. You
Dortmund,
watched that one?
Copenhagen. This one was fun. I was really impressed with Dortmund. They look really good going forward. Very free-flowing football. Julian Brandt looked really, really good. There was an injury. Gio Reyna gets to come on. Gio Reyna assist. Rafael Guerrero also looked really good for Dortmund too. Nice 3-0 win against Copenhagen, who are absolutely finishing bottom of the group.
Yeah, that's fair. Benfica, Maccabi, Haifa, I believe. Benfica won that one 2-0. Shout out Roman. I don't think any of us watched that game.
Nope, I did not. But they won. Banger. That was
Yes.
a banger.
Yeah, I did
that
see
got
the
scored
goal,
in that
yeah.
game, though.
Yeah.
Grimaldo.
Yeah, great goal. Probably
That
goal
was
of the season so
beautiful.
far.
Probably, yeah. Sevilla, Man City, 4-0.
Holland, brace in his Champions League debut for City. De Bruyne with a great assist to him. Phil Foden, wonder goal. Phenomenal goal from Phil Foden. Takes the ball down, jukes the defender, goes back same way, kind of like Ronaldinho versus Chelsea-esque, where it was just like one touch at the top of the box and just like drilled it through the defense into the opposite corner. Really, really good goal from him. Ruben Diaz grabs a funny goal at the end. There's like a tap-in, slid across to him. We looked really good. Manuel Akanji, extremely good debut. He's going to go down as one of the best signings of the season. I think he's a bargain for how good he's been for us. Plays with both feet, passes the ball really well. Only been like 3-4 trainings with us. Already looks very comfortable.
Yeah.
The young fullback Sergio Gomez too. I love the kid. Him and Cancelo should start against Tottenham this weekend. I don't like Kyle Walker right now.
Oh, fair play. RB Salzburg, AC Milan, that one finished 1-1. I did watch second half of this one. I fucking am blanking on the AC Milan guy who scored. He's Belgian. Something Mockers. Anyway, Origi came on. Our boy, AC Milan fans giving him shit. No fucking Origi slander on the timeline anymore. That's all I had on this one.
We're going to get into it, but I wonder if it was added to Josh's banned terms on Twitter.
Oh, did Bash share this with you guys?
It's going to come up one weekend. It's going to come up one weekend.
Next game, Celtic Real Madrid. Celtic, kind of a tale of two halves in this one. Celtic looked really strong in the first half. Eden Hazard comes on.
Rolling back the years, this game for Eden. Involved in all 3 goals.
Must have been 2011 at this point.
Vintage Eden
A
Hazard.
goal, an assist, and then a hockey assist.
Pre-assist, for one of them too.
It was a really good game. Vinicius opened the scoring with a really, really well-worked goal. No surprises out of that one.
Next one, Leipzig, Shakhtar Donetsk.
I love Shakhtar.
Yeah,
Shout out
4-1.
Shakhtar.
RB Leipzig are trash now, too. They lost so much. They're not going to get back up to that level this year, I don't think, in the Bundesliga. Or it's crazy that they were fighting for the Bundesliga a couple years ago.
That team was insane, though. And then Bayern went and bought 3 of their best players and took their manager.
Yeah, they just haven't invested really, I don't think, as much since then. Obviously, goes into the result. PSG, Juventus, next one, 2-1 at the Parc des Princes. Mbappe, 2 wonder goals. The link up with Neymar was real.
Great goals. Could have had an assist, though. Could have had an assist. Dude. Messi beats like 3 dudes on the dribble and just plays Mbappe in behind. You just got Neymar streaking all by himself. Mbappe just sides it into the side netting instead of just squaring it to Neymar.
Mbappe is kind of making a name for himself as a little bit of a diva. But The most important story out of this game, Weston McKennie, our boy,
Got a goal.
grabs a goal in Paris. Champions League goal with Messi at his backside. I mean, you couldn't have write better.
We love Americans. 2 American goal involvements this weekend.
Yes.
Love to see it.
Love to see it.
We're winning the World Cup.
That wraps up Tuesday's games. First
I don't know
one.
about that.
First one to talk about for Wednesday, Inter Bayern. Did you watch that one, Pat?
I did.
We
Really
don't
good.
have scores for these ones.
2-0.
No logistics.
Believe it was 2-0
I
today.
think it was 2-0 as well.
Sane scored a really, really well-taken goal. He was rolling back the years. Bayern just look unbelievably good, and Inter look fine, I guess. But Bayern look like the real deal. Mane looked decent too, but Sane man of the match performance out of him. He actually won Champions League UEFA man of the match after the game too. He was really, really good.
We're missing one on here. Ajax Rangers. I believe Ajax won that game.
It's like 4-0.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Beat the shit out of them, yeah.
It was 4-0.
Eintracht Frankfurt also played Sporting, got the shit kicked out of them in their first Champions League match ever at home.
Tough.
3-0 to
I had
Sporting.
Eintracht Frankfurt money line. Tough for me. Barcelona Victoria. That one finished
5-1.
heavy-handed to
5-1.
Barca.
5-1 Barca. Lewandowski scored a hat trick. Dembele played fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's a new man. His wife changed him. He's sick now.
Napoli, Liverpool. Not much we have to say about this.
Just
Yikes.
absolutely disgusting
Yeah, 4-1.
performance out of everybody.
Trash. Tough for the shout out all the Liverpool fans who fucking flew to Napoli to
See that.
piece of shit
The
performance.
Maradona Mausoleum where Liverpool goes to die.
Yeah.
Our best result there, 0-0,
No. We did have a draw there.
11 years ago.
Madrid Porto next. I luckily got to see the end of this
Yes,
game.
thank
What a
Crazy.
fucking finish.
Holy shit.
I was watching it with Bass and Cam, and holy shit, as soon as the penalty got called, I was like, Atletico are scoring another one. They scored 3 goals in the span of 10 minutes at the end of the game. Absolute
10 minutes of added time, too.
electric factory.
Yeah, it was
all,
crazy.
Yeah, all the
All
goals
goals
were in
in added
added time. It was an absolute barn burner. Griezmann in his allotted
had to
20
be
minutes a
Grizzy.
game.
Had to be Grizzy.
In his, thank God he came on in the 60th minute in his, in his 20-minute allotment.
Yep, he gets
Does
30
extra
minutes a game.
time go into that?
No, added time does not count. So that's why he
gonna
will
say
be
that would
playing
fuck
full
them.
games in February.
Tottenham, Marseille. Marseille got a red card in this one. Tottenham did win 2-0.
2-0.
Richarlison
scored a brace on his Champions League debut. Went over, hugged his family after the game that were all
Yeah,
in
saw
attendance there. Shed some tears. Yeah, good for him, but also go fuck yourself.
that. Tottenham's starting to look a little bit scary.
They look
a
good.
little bit for me. Club Bruges, Leverkusen. I'm not sure how this one ended, to be honest.
1-0 to Bruges.
Oh, wow. That's a surprise.
Bruggy, if you will. Club Bruggy.
Yeah.
Bruggy.
That was UCL
TBT.
preview. We did a great run down there, boys. I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah, we killed that shit. We flew through that motherfucker.
We flew that. Yeah, that was
All right,
awesome.
now let's take it off the
run.
pitch. Let's get into the locker room
Yeah.
and get out of bounds.
Out of bounds. I have 3 topics this week. I'm going to start it off with we're going to follow in right from last week because we talked about witch doctors last week. I don't follow it because every time I get an update about this, I put it in the group chat. So Pogba has confirmed to the police that he's used witch doctors now for injuries. I don't want to say it's funny, but he is getting.
It's ironic.
Yes, ironic. He is getting surgery and will be out 40 to 60 days with a leg injury. France, I believe, start their title defense in 70 days, so it's gonna be close calls for the World Cup. Pogba, witch doctors, the saga continues.
I'm excited. I hope we get a part 3.
This has been an interesting story to follow for sure, and just like the timing, can't be a coincidence. It has to be directly related to this.
I mean to like go back and talk about the last thing we referenced with the French football scandals. The Valbuena and Benzema thing happened in a World Cup cycle too, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it did.
It's fucking wild to me, man.
Crazy. Next one, we talked about VAR already, but Lee Mason dropped as a VAR official for this weekend's Prem games. What do you boys think about refs getting dropped? For
think
big matches.
Players get benched in big matches when they don't perform. If Lee Mason is going to fuck up like that, he maybe should go ref in the championship for a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think he should lose his job for it, but
Relegation for refs.
Yeah,
Holy
you get
shit.
relegated. You get
Champions
What a
League too. I think
concept.
Champions League already does that, but
go ref in the championship. Go ref some non-league, go be a linesman at a Sunday league game, and then you can come back to the big boys.
Can we get a sofa score rating every game
For refs?
Yeah, for refs.
Please. Holy shit.
I think this is something we brought up last year, and it needs to be done. The accountability, I think we were talking about Paul Tierney at the time.
It's always PT.
It's always Paul Tierney. It's always fucking Paul Tierney.
But no, I think it's good. I think it's a step in the right direction to hold officials accountable for making wrong decisions that affect people's lives at the end of the day. They affect somebody makes a wrong decision in a game that Tuchel is managing, and he gets fired the next day. That there needs to be repercussions. There needs to be consistent training. There needs to be transparency. And I've said it before. I'll say it again.
I rocks with it. I fucks with it. We agree. We agree with that.
I would agree with that. And last story here. I'm taking this back a couple days here to the deadline day. Bamba Dieng from Olympique Marseille. This story is hilarious. Following this throughout the day on Thursday on deadline day. Was a Marseille player. Was going to go to Leeds. The deal, personal terms agreed, contract ready, going to do his medical. On the tarmac at the airport, decides no more Leeds, doesn't want to do that, and accepts a proposal from OGC Nice. So he decides he's going to do that. Says, Leeds, I'm done with you. I want to go do this project instead. Gets to do his medical and fails the medical. Not enough time in the day to accept another proposal, take another private jet to whatever team wants to sign you at that point. So you end the day on Thursday having to go back to home at Marseille and just act like nothing has ever happened.
That's funny.
I think that sounds like a typical weekend with me and my friends where we're going to make a big life-changing decision. We plan through it. We go through the steps. We're going to go do something.
And then Mitch wakes up at 6 o'clock.
Then Mitch wakes up at 6 o'clock and decides, hey, no, not enough time. We're just going to go crawl back in our hole and with our tail between our legs. That is a tough
That is funny. That's pretty funny.
It's tough to shop yourself around on deadline day, and you are really hoeing yourself out.
Is he his own agent too?
I don't know.
I just picture him sitting in the plane, figuring out. Hey, pilot, do we have enough fuel to go to Paris real quick? I'm trying to get to Nice.
You need to backtrack, yeah.
I don't want to go to Leeds anymore, so we're gonna change the route, get that cleared with the FAA or whatever.
We're good.
And
let's get it.
Oh shit! Now
it's tough to fail a
medical
medical too.
That's
failing a medical is bad news. Doesn't matter who you are, what age you are. And I don't have this on the list too, but it is kind of outside of regular day-to-day football. Cardi to Galatasaray is a hilarious transfer.
Yeah,
someone who was going to be a supposed top footballer a couple years ago is now playing in Turkey. Well, he did steal someone's wife, and I think that was bad karma.
Him and it was Gomez.
Yes, he used to be a Liverpool player,
right?
Maxi Gomez.
Yeah, the whole scandal with stealing Maxi Gomez's wife, Wanda Cardi, and now there's all the shit with him and Wanda on Instagram constantly. They just air out their dirty laundry on the internet.
Shit, yeah, last year, Wanda caught him cheating or whatever.
Insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Out of bounds, covering football's biggest gossip.
Everywhere.
Yeah. The Mönchengladbach Minute.
Yeah. It's a bad weekend. It's a bad weekend to be a fool. Koa Takara gets sent off. Not Freiburg. Who the fuck did we play? It's in the notes. Mines score from the direct free kick following the red card, and we lose 1-0. It's about it.
Tough.
We are away to Freiburg at the weekend. We fall to 8th place in the Bundesliga. Go from 2nd to 8th.
That's
It's
tight.
been a tough couple of weeks for you.
Yeah,
You barely lost to Bayern, or you drew with Bayern.
Bayern. It's a bad day to be a fool.
Bad day to be a fool. Speaking of direct free kicks, I have a question for you guys before we end the episode.
Yep.
What happened to indirect free kicks?
I think you have to, really specific thing has to happen to get an indirect free kick, and it's so uncommon, we just don't get them.
I feel like in high school we grew up playing and there was indirect free kicks.
Okay, well, I feel like high school didn't always have the right rules because you could get called for a high boot for literally anything, and I one time conceded a penalty with my back turned to the player that I apparently pushed. So
I remember we scored a goal one time and it was like an indirect free kick, a banger free kick, like top bins, and it didn't touch anyone, so they didn't count. But I was wondering like where those went because I feel like they were a thing and now they're just not a thing.
I think it's.
We have to get into the history. Maybe this can be a mini.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at a different time.
We'll do the history of direct versus indirect free kicks on another episode.
I did some logistics research there. There's a lot of layers
a lot
to
to
that
unpack.
onion. Yeah, no, we're not going to get into that 45 minutes into the episode, unfortunately.
That was a good episode, boys. We covered a lot.
Yeah, episode 7. As always, if you liked if you like the content, if you want to banter with us, feel free to reach out on Instagram, leave a comment, videos on YouTube when we can. We're dealing with some technical difficulties on the video side right now. We're trying to work through, but
do we want to talk about
I was just gonna ask if whoever's out there, if LFC Rick could please come forward and let us know who you are.
Maybe we need to ask him for some advice on our fantasy team.
Dude, we might. He's killing it. I mean, I think it's just the Holland triple captain really did him numbies.
Those were numbies.
51
51 points.
Got him 51 points.
I heard he's first in all of his other leagues too, even the ones with like 60 people.
Do you know him personally?
No.
Gonna have to figure out who it is. LFC Rick, if you want to reach out, come on the pod, talk fantasy with us, please do.
Maybe look him up on Twitter. Maybe give him a follow. Toss a couple likes his way. Throw a guy a bone.
I'm gonna be so fucking mad if you win the league.
Does that mean the two of us just have to pool our money together and buy him a jersey?
No, fuck you.
I would give it to second place, but that would be funny if I held you guys hostage over a kid. That's episode 7.
I fucking hate this.
Like and subscribe to the thing, baby.
This was unhinged.
Bye. I'm done.
Deuces.
Peace.